Hello everyone and welcome back to Genie Crafts and a very happy new year in advance. This is my last video of this year and I wanted to make this video about colored string portrait. If you guys have been following my channel, then you must have known that I have been making videos on string portraits for quite some time and I have been experimenting on my colored string portrait. In this video I'm trying to address some of the problems which I have been facing for some time now. Problem number one is how to reduce the size of the output portrait. The very first portrait that I made was 100 centimeter diameter, which is almost 3 feet wide. The second one which I made was 60 centimeter diameter, almost 2 feet wide, and the last one, the latest one which I have made is just 44 centimeter diameter. So how did I achieve this reduction in size? So the first change that I did was using a thinner thread. So for this particular portrait, I got Tex 18 thread, which is thinner than the thread that I was using previously. Almost it is half as thin as my previous thread. So lower the text number, thinner the thread, higher the text number, thicker the thread. Now using a thinner thread ensures that when you are using a smaller board, you are able to weave the same amount of lines without the density on the board increasing too much. So because the thread is thin, you can utilize a smaller board to weave the same number of lines without your portrait getting too dense. Problem number two is how to prevent your board deterioration. I specifically am referring to mold growth on your MDF board, especially if you are living in a humid region. So for that, instead of using paper as a background, you can spray paint the front and back of your MDF board using oil-based spray paints or water-based spray paints, which will prevent the mold growth. You can also use gesso as a medium to cover your MDF board. And the third big problem was how to prevent the bending of a board, even in case if you are using thick boards. So what I had seen was that even when I was using thick boards like 1 centimeter thick board, even for such thickness, after the completion of the portrait, I could see that there was slight bending of the board in the center. And this was happening because you are weaving almost 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 lines across the nails, and it is bound to create some kind of stress. So to get rid of this specific problem, I had to make slight changes to my method of weaving. So initially when I used to weave the thread across the nails, I used to maintain enough tension between the two nails. But later on I realized that if I reduce this tension slightly, I'm just keeping the string that much tight so that it just does not get slack, it remains straight, and no more tension or no more stress on the string than that. If you are able to maintain this level of tension in the string, then the tension on the board also reduces, the stress on the board also reduces, and your board will not bend. So this was basically a slight change to my viewing methodology more than anything else. Another important factor that plays a role in reducing the board size is the total number of nails. Now unfortunately, for a colored string portrait, you require at the minimum 300 nails to generate a good template and generate a good portrait. Now the nails itself are going to occupy some space and you need a certain distance between the nails. So if you are able to get very strong nails with very thin body and a small head, then you'll be able to reduce the size even further. It all depends upon that after you have arranged the nails in a circle, is there enough gap between the head of the nails for you to weave the thread. If the gap is there, then you can keep on reducing the size of the board to even smaller sizes. But in my case, the nails that I was using is still the same nails from 7mm cable clip, which has the head of the nails have a diameter of almost 2.5 mm. So the minimum distance I could keep my nails apart, the hammering positions of the nails, was 5 millimeter apart, which led to around 1 millimeter to 1.5 millimeter gap between the two nails, which was enough for me to weave the thread. I've been looking for different kind of nails, but so far I have not been successful. If I'm able to get nails with thinner body and smaller head, then I'll be able to reduce the size of the board even further. So guys, these are some of the things which I have found during my experiments with the string art, and I thought I would share with you. If you guys found this interesting, then please do let me know, like my video and share it with your friends. Also let me know what do you think about this particular string art, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video in a very new year. Till then guys, stay safe, take care, and a very happy new year.